Hello everyone, hi, how are you guys doing today? Welcome back to another episode reaction to Buffy the Vampire Slayer. This is right? My name is Matt. Hello. Last time on Buffy, we had the Tara episode. Pretty good episode. I enjoyed how it ended. I had people talk about it on my Patreon, and I like addressing like a little bit of what I get as an audience reaction from Patreon whenever I watch these episodes, and like I've had people tell me like they absolutely love this episode. It's like one of the best episodes they've ever seen. And then I had a person tell me like, yeah, it was actually very difficult for me to get through it. And I think I'm kind of on that same venue of that person because that episode was really difficult for me to watch. I wouldn't say I was like necessarily like thrilled to watch as it was happening. It was good because of the ending, because of the way it ended. It was very good for Tara and it made me feel good, but the lead up to it was so miserable that I kind of don't want to rewatch that episode. But I was happy to have a Tara episode. I was worried that we got a Tara episode and I didn't know how the way it was gonna go, but I was happy that we got a very nice resolution to it, so that was nice. We got more Tara. That's beautiful. That's wonderful. Tara's family is really bad on a lot of levels. We're not gonna talk about them today, hopefully. Anyway, that's kind of it for the recap, really. I don't know what else to say. It was mostly just a Tara episode, which I loved, but that's kind of it. I loved how Willow just made Tara just face her and stopped her from running away. That was my favorite thing in that episode. And then Tara just, like the little things that Tara does where like she couldn't even say no, but she signed no. Like she just shook her head. I love that. I talk about it extensively. I don't have to talk about it today, but that was beautiful. Okay, this episode now. I did watch an Angel episode yesterday, and it was kind of memes with Wesley, so that was fun. Let's watch Buffy now. Patreon, check out the Patreon, link in the description below, pop up on the screen. You can support the channel, and you can watch the next 2 episodes of Buffy already in early reactions. You can also watch them in full-length reactions, and you can watch Angel watch-alongs, so me watching Angel as I go through the show simultaneously. Okay, let's begin. So, Buffy the Vampire Slayer Season 5, Episode 7. Let's go.
Spike has fought 2 Slayers in the last century.
Oh boy, Spike episode.
You know, it's probably none of my business, but I just gotta ask.
Why the look?
The fast-growing field of personal grooming's come a long way since you became a vampire.
Is this real? Okay, I guess it's real. Shit, okay. She was taunting him too much. That is a serious injury. I don't think it's mega serious, but it's serious enough. It kind of, like, it hits your gut. It's like the center. Remind yourself that overconfidence is a slow and insidious killer. Oh, that looks really bad. Don't pull it out. That's worse.
You were having so much fun a minute ago.
What if Spike saves her and then he has to nurse her back to health or whatever? And that would be insane. Yeah, it's Riley.
Hey, what happened?
Guest starring David Boreanaz. Okay. Spoilers. I'm not gonna look at the bottom. I'm just not gonna look at it.
I still think you need to see a real doctor.
That would put me in a real hospital, which would get my real mom real freaked out. I can't do it.
You got stabbed, girl. Go to a hospital.
What do you think they were?
A regular vampire.
Vampire.
How many?
One.
So what? He was like a super vampire or something?
No, I just kind of got a little bit cocky and overconfident. So that's kind of on me.
Dawn! Sorry to interrupt the sexcapades. I just wanted to tell you that Mom's coming.
Bordering on chipper and tomorrow planning on being obnoxious.
Glad to hear it.
Are you disinfecting something?
Oh, mine. Some nail polish experiments are doomed before they even begin.
But you keep pushing the envelope, honey.
Thanks, Dawn.
Did I just pull a Slayer-related mom cover-up thing?
If I show you something you promise you won't tell.
Oh, cool. I mean, gross.
And Mom cannot know. You'll help me with the household stuff?
Oh, sure, I save your butt and you dump all your chores on me.
I got stabbed, girl.
Dawn takes household duty. I'll take tonight's patrol.
Do me a favor? You take the gang along with?
And everyone's like, what are you doing? Yeah.
It probably means
follow him. Dad or wait here for him.
God. Like,
Hey, Riley!
shut up.
Tell you what, I'll take the cemeteries. You guys get the bronze.
Are we not being covert enough?
We're sorry.
Sorry.
You're eating chips. Like,
He's like a cat.
he's really just playing Metal Gear Solid, and these three are in a sitcom. Like, the vibes are all off there.
Wow,
Reading about
what's it say?
Slayers.
Same as all the others. Slayer called, blah, blah. Great protector, blah, blah. Scary battles, blah, blah. Oops, she's dead. Where are the details?
Details?
Where are the details of the Slayer's last battle? You know, what made that fight special? Why did she lose?
Okay, I have two ways I'm thinking about this.
Got really close.
Either the death of a Slayer is not in battle, it happens because of something else, or Slayers die in random battles, so small that they don't matter, just because of the sheer amount of battles.
The problem is, after a final battle, it's difficult to get any, well, the Slayer's not
It's okay to use the D word, Giles.
dead.
Why didn't the Watchers keep fuller accounts of it? The journals just stop.
I suppose if they're anything like me, they just find the whole subject too,
Unseemly? Love you, but you Watchers are such prigs sometimes.
painful. No one left to tell the tales.
We did summon one once.
What?
Spike. He has killed two, right?
You killed two of them. You're gonna show me how.
Okay. We're just having a drink
This,
with Spike.
unfortunately, is not one of them.
We're not here to discuss the fine choice of hops. It's about two Slayers. One in China during the Boxer Rebellion, one in New York.
New York.
Tell the tale, you get the cash.
We fought, I won, the end. Pay up.
That's not what
What did you want, eh? A blow-for-blow description you can map out and memorize? It's all about the moves, love. Since I agreed to your little proposition, we can do this my way. Wings. Spicy buffalo wings. Order me up a plate. I'm feeling peckish.
Yeah, treat him to dinner.
Excuse me.
He knows.
I'm fine.
Oh, right. Stuck in a dark corner with a creature you loathe. Digging up past uglies because you're fine.
Just tell me what I want to know. Were you born this big a pain in the ass?
And what can I tell you, baby? I've always been bad.
Luminous. Oh, no.
Okay, this is...
Yeah, well,
God, he was such a nerd.
Quickly. I'm the very spirit of vexation. What's another word for gleaming?
God, that rules. So who turned him? What age was this also? God, we're getting Spike backstory. 1880. Okay, we got a date.
Ah, William, favor us with your opinion. What do you make of this rash of disappearances sweeping through our town?
I prefer not to think of such dark, ugly business at all. That's what the police are for. I prefer placing my energies into creating things of beauty.
I see. Well, don't withhold, William.
Rescue us from a dreary topic.
Careful. The inks are still wet. Please, it's not finished.
Don't be shy. My heart expands. 'Tis grown a bulge in it. Inspired by your beauty, effulgent. Effulgent.
Actually, one of his better compositions.
Have you heard? They call him William the Bloody because of his bloody awful poetry.
It suits him. I'd rather have a railroad spike through my head than listen to that awful stuff.
Is that where the name come from?
They're Vulgarians. They're not like you and I.
You and I. I'm going to ask you a very personal question. Your poetry, it's not written about me, are they?
They're about how I feel.
Yes, but are they about me?
Every syllable.
Oh, God.
Well, I know. It's sudden. And, please, if they're no good, they're only words. But the feeling behind them. I love you, Cecily.
Please, stop.
I know I'm a bad poet, but I'm a good man. All I ask is that you try to see me.
I do see you. That's the problem. You're nothing to me, William.
Really? You're gonna do him like that?
You're beneath me.
Transform? No. Just a very mean woman. Not a monster. And a metaphorical monster, but not a literal one. Man, and that was the start. That's what is that an angel or Angelus?
Where you're going?
Kinda looked like Angelus. It was a very tall, long-haired man. And it had kind of the walk that David Boreanaz has. Oh, guest star in David Boreanaz. So maybe he had stars here in the past. Okay, but I'm pretty sure it's...
I wonder
Drusilla?
what possible catastrophe came crashing down from heaven and brought this dashing stranger to tears.
I wish to be alone.
I see you. Your wealth,
Laws here and here. Imagination. You walk in worlds the others can't begin to imagine.
Yes. I mean, no. I mean, Mother's expecting me.
Something glowing and glistening. Effulgent.
She's just like me, for real, for real.
Do you want it?
Oh, yes.
Ow! 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 Ow!
Like, all I'm thinking about is how he didn't, like, even get scared or run away or fight back the moment she transformed. Like, that was still cool for him. It wasn't until she started biting him and it hurt that he started reacting. Before that moment, he was completely, totally down for it still. Oh, is there a vampire club here? I was really hoping that it would be a bunch of punk rockers. I was really hoping that it would be that.
We'll come back at daybreak when they're asleep and we're better armed. It's okay. We can kill them just as dead in the morning.
We have to not get found out, though. Also, they might go out and just kill people tonight.
Getting killed made me feel alive for the very first time. I was through living by society's rules. I had to get myself a gang.
Perhaps it's my advancing years that makes me so forgetful, William. Remind me, why don't we kill you?
It's Spike now.
Developing a new persona.
We barely got out of London alive because of you. And now...
You've got me and my women hiding in the luxury of a mine shaft. All because William the Bloody likes the attention.
We're vampires.
All the more reason to use a certain amount of finesse.
Bollocks! That stuff's for the frilly cuffs and collars crowd. I'll take a good brawl any day.
And every time you do, we become the hunted.
I think our boys are going to fight.
The King of Cups expects a picnic.
I love
This is
Drusilla.
not his birthday.
Good point.
I wish Drusilla was here every episode.
Come on, when was the last time you unleashed it? All out fighting a mob, back against the wall, nothing but fist and fangs. Don't you ever get tired of fights you know you're gonna win?
No, a real kill. A good kill. It takes pure artistry. Without that, we're just animals.
Poofed, huh? Now you're getting it.
If I can't teach you, maybe someday an angry crowd will, or the Slayer.
What's a Slayer?
Oh, you didn't know?
After that, I was obsessed.
Oh, he was like, I want to find a Slayer so I can feel alive while fighting.
Hell, I sought her out.
So how'd you kill her?
He literally...
Lesson the first. A Slayer must always reach for her weapon. I've already got mine. Become a vampire, got nothing to fear. Nothing but one goal.
Oh, the first one was in China, wasn't it? He loves it. Like, so many, like, Buddha and, like, lion statues, just to let you know that we're in China. But it's cool, I like it. I like the side. I don't know where the red lighting's coming from, but it's fun. It's like we're in Mortal Kombat 1995. I love it. Oh, he just got lucky. He was dead there. There we go. Got her.
Sorry, love. I don't speak Chinese.
That's like sad just for us. Like, we are the only people that know what she said, the audience. But she's there? I guess she's just there.
Naughty, wicked Spike.
I have to say, I really dig this, like, fucking Leonardo DiCaprio ass hair he has. This fucking Leon Kennedy ass, Trunks ass hair.
Ever hear them say the blood of a Slayer is a powerful aphrodisiac? Have a taste.
Doesn't that also mean that, like, the entire time Spike is hanging out with Buffy in the future, he's horny as hell? Vampires can smell blood, and she has a wound there.
May I tell?
No need to be humble.
My little Spike just killed himself a Slayer.
And then we fucked on top of her corpse.
Congratulations. I guess that makes you one of us.
I'll tell you what. When and if this snooper does show up, I'll give you first crack at it.
Let's get out of here. This rebellion's starting to bore me.
Angelus in the past is so interesting because like they paint him as like a demon, and he kind of is one in some scenes, but then throughout the entirety of this, he doesn't seem like it. That was a great shot, by the way, him walking with his from behind, the swagger. Like, damn, I feel alive.
That was the best night of my life.
You got off on it.
Well, yeah. Suppose you're telling me you don't.
Ooh.
How many of my kind reckon you've done?
Not enough.
But you can kill 100, 1,000, 1,000, and the armies of hell besides. And all we need is for one of us, just one, sooner or later, to have the thing we're all hoping for. One good day. Hey! Ooh. You asked and I'm telling. You've gotten so good, you're starting to think you're immortal.
Not really. I just know I can handle myself.
Can you?
Oh. And how do you explain this?
Yeah. We're in a public spot also. He came back alone.
Put this in a museum.
Does he have like a grenade or something? Can he like roll it in
Mostly
there?
dead things.
Come on, man. What are you doing? He's gonna kill himself? Well, if he kills the one that injured Buffy, he has to deal with like... He did come with a grenade! You should have rolled it in there first! Well, I guess they have to go through that door.
What?
Less than a second. You wanna know how I beat him? The question isn't how'd I win. The question is why'd they lose?
How'd you kill the second one?
A bit like this.
That didn't hurt?
I knew it couldn't touch you. If there's no intent to hurt you, then that chip they shoved up my brain never activates.
Yeah.
If, on the other hand...
Because there was intent.
Yeah? This hurt too?
You're not ready to know.
I'm ready.
Okay, then. We're like this.
Damn the look! 1977. That was an era. The Afro too. Damn, I want to follow this Slayer. What was this show like in the 1970s with Disco Slayer? Damn, the trench coat, dude. God damn, that's the look. I love the Slayer. I love the Spike. This is fun. Just all the fighting in the subway, just like, yeah, it's New York.
She was cunning, resourceful. Oh, I did mention hot. I could have danced all night with that one.
You think we're dancing?
A little bit, yeah. Oh my god, like, he's just flirting at this point.
Every day you wake up, it's the same bloody question what haunts you. It's the day I die.
Death is on your heels, baby. And sooner or later, it's gonna catch you.
Part of you wants it. Not only to stop the fear and uncertainty, but because you're just a little bit in love with it.
To what degree is he right when he says this? The darkness. We'll never know how that happened.
Death is your art. You make it with your hands, day after day. That final gasp, that look of peace. Part of you is desperate to know, what's it like? Where does it lead you? And now you see, that's the secret. Not the punch she didn't throw, or the kick she didn't land. She merely wanted it. Every Slayer has a death wish. Even you.
Okay. I like the way those scenes went from one to the other. He was like looking into the future at her.
You've got ties to the world. Mum, rat kid sister, Scoobies. They don't tie you here. But you're just putting off the inevitable.
Oh, that's where he got the coat from!
The second that happens, you know I'll be there. Have myself a real good day. Here endeth the lesson.
Okay.
I just wonder if you'll like it as much as she did.
Get out of my sight, Spike.
Oh, did I scare you? Come on. One good swing. You know you want to.
I mean it.
So do I. Give it me good, Buffy.
What if they kiss?
Do it.
Spike. What the hell are you doing?
Come on. I can feel it, Slayer. You know you want to dance.
Say I do want to. It wouldn't be you, Spike.
Okay. We're not crazy
It
yet.
would never be you. You're beneath me.
Oh! Got him! He's done. He's fucking cooked. It's over. GG. Is he gonna go kill himself later tonight? he gonna start crying now? Like, I kind of have stuff to talk about this in front of me right now. Okay. What are we doing?
Beneath me.
Is he gonna try and kill her? Is he gonna try and kill her?
Feet beneath me.
Shoot her with a gun? I mean, his head is gonna hurt real bad, but
She's the Slayer. She is so gonna kick
he's
your
killed
ass.
too.
Two barrels here that'll prove you wrong.
The second you even point that thing at her, you're gonna be all, ah!
It'll hurt like hell for about 2 hours. And she'll be dead just a little longer than that.
That is true. If he manages to just kill her, which is a gun, so all you gotta do is just do this and that's it.
You're the one who keeps bringing her up. I haven't said a word about the
South
bloody
American.
flares.
Where in South America? There's countries, motherfucker.
I can still see her floating all around you, laughing. Why won't you push her away?
But I did, Pet. I did it for you. You keep punishing me.
Carrying on with creatures like this.
You guys obviously have a thing going on here.
I have to find my pleasure, Spike.
I didn't know she was seeing somebody. I should take off.
Yeah, why don't you do that?
You're all covered with her. I look at you. All I see is the Slayer.
Not untrue. Did they invite Spike in?
Are you okay? I'm fine.
At some point?
You know, the nothing that I've been dealing with the last couple of weeks, it might not be nothing. I'm staying overnight at the hospital for observation. I'm getting a CAT scan. It's only one night.
Yeah, but...
And they say, even if there is something, it's still very early, if they didn't see it before. I'm gonna be fine.
I know you will.
Oh, they're going outside.
What do you want now?
What's wrong?
I don't want to talk about it.
Is there something I can do?
It's fucking crazy. Just gonna sit next to her and just stay there with your gun. Right? That's our ending. I think that episode was fucking wild. Insane. And it's like not a lot happened, but a lot happened. Okay, we'll have to talk about it. Very character focused talk here. So we got the Spike episode. And dude, like I know, and at this point I've known for a couple episodes already, like why people really like Spike. And I feel like this is the episode where like whatever website where you hosted a bunch of fan fiction of Buffy back in 2001 or whatever, this was the episode where they blew the fuck up. Like that's how I feel. LiveJournal went fucking insane. Okay, so this is an episode where we get to see a lot of Spike's backstory, which we've never seen before. We've only heard of it. They did mention, like, oh yeah, he's killed 2 Slayers. But like when they said that, I'm pretty sure that the only reason why they said that, I'm talking from like a writing perspective, is to be like, oh, you know, he's like really strong. You know, he's like really evil. He kills Slayers. So you should be like afraid of him. Then it's fun how at the end of the season, he actually kind of helps. So that's really cool what they did with Spike back in season 2. But this episode gives us a lot. We have the funny transition of the episode of like, you know, what was it that he said? Is like, I was always cool. And then he immediately cuts to like the nerdiest man you've ever seen. He was a nerd. He was uncool. Nobody liked him. Girls laughed at him. It was like, it's insane. Like I was because we're in Buffy, I was thinking like, oh, that girl that he had a crush on, like she was either a vampire or a slayer, and then it's like, no, she was just a very mean woman. and it's like, at the same time, you see this man and it's like, well, he really wants it. He's like going for it a little bit too hard. But it's also like an innocent one. It's like he doesn't seem like he was necessarily mean-spirited in any way. He was just a fucking nerd and people didn't like him. And then he got turned into a vampire. I do want to point out that when Drusilla turned him, and also this is something I was thinking about when it was happening, is that Darla is the start of the chain for all of that shit to happen, which is really interesting because Darla was kind of a chump that died in like season 1, and it wasn't a cool episode. I think it was Angel. It was an Angel episode. I think it was like episode 8 or season 1 or something. She showed up with like guns and shit, and it was fun. But because Darla died so early, you never really get a perspective of how important Darla was to the history of just the lore of the show. But like, now watching this and having seen Angel, I'm like, okay, so Darla turned Angelus. Then Angelus and Darla fucked in front of Drusilla, drove her crazy and turned her. And then Drusilla turned Spike. And it's like, everyone here, everyone that we've seen that is like a really important vampire is like part of the same group. And everyone has these legends of like, this was the most vicious group or whatever. This was the biggest evils that we've ever seen in terms of vampires. And it's like, yeah, it was all because of Darla. Which is really interesting because now we got Darla and Angel. Spoilers if you haven't seen Angel. Darla is showing up in Angel season 2 now. And it's really interesting that we get to see Darla like there and here. And now we get more of a context of like how important, how crucial it was Darla for just everything in the show. But yeah, anyway, I was thinking about that. But okay. We get to see how Spike got turned. And when he was turned, I want to say that, like, he got turned, and as he was getting turned, like, when Drusilla transformed into vampire form, that wasn't a deal breaker for Spike. Spike was still like, you know, maybe she just transforms. maybe she just has a condition or something. Because, like, when she transformed in front of him, he didn't, like, run away or scream or freak out or anything. He just kind of stood there. And then when she started biting into him, he still just took it. And it wasn't until it started to really hurt that he was like, ow, 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 and he just started to like have a reaction out of him. So like, there's something that's interesting about Spike as a character is that he was, again, people really like Spike, and I'm seeing all of the reasons why, and it almost seems like the show wants people to love Spike. Like, I don't know if the show understood exactly the existence of, or not the existence, but the intensity of fangirls, but it almost seems like they were creating Spike for that purpose only. The more we go, it feels like they are adding more fuel to the fire that is the passion for Spike as a character. Because now we see Spike and we get to see the original version of Spike, William, and he was a lovesick nerd. He really had crushes on these girls. Nobody liked them. They didn't like him. They made fun of him. And then eventually Drusilla sees him and they have an interaction, and Drusilla just seduces him, but it doesn't even seduce him in like a, you know, come and see my tits kind of thing. She seduced them in a way of like, you want someone to like care. You want passion. You want someone to actually like be intimate with you in some level. And fucking William was like, yeah, I do. So that's how he fell for it. And it's not even like he fell for it, because like if a vampire has you, then they have you. They're very strong. They can just fucking kill you. But like, again, he didn't even like scream when she transformed. He was like, I'm still into this, because she said the word. What the fuck was the word? It wasn't like effervescent. It was similar, but it was a nerdy ass word that only he used. People made fun of him for it, but Drusilla pulled it out of him because she's a psychic or something, or maybe it was just a coincidence. But in that moment, he fell for that girl because he literally was like, she's just like me, for real, for real. He didn't say it, but we knew, because like the other girl made fun of him for the word, everyone else did, but Drusilla didn't, and it's like, I'll die for you. Like, no matter what, I want to be with this woman, because she uses the same nerdy words that I do. So then she transforms, and he's still like, but maybe we're connected still. And then he got transformed, and that was the beginning of William as Spike. So then Spike, now that he has powers, it seems like he had his nerd to rebellious pipeline. I'm above them now. I can do whatever the fuck I want, and I'm gonna show them. I'm gonna show them how cool I can be, that I have the freedom to do whatever I want now. I have the power, yeah. So then he goes out and he just starts murdering a bunch of people, and he's very reckless. Because, like, now that he doesn't have to abide by anyone's rules, now that he doesn't have to feel like... And it's always fucking interesting whenever we talk about vampires in the show, because kind of the way the vampires were introduced, I have to say, I feel like this is a change that the show has done, and I'm pretty sure I've mentioned it before, but like when vampires were introduced in the show, they definitely felt more like this is a demon puppeting a body. And now, many seasons later, it feels like a vampire is just like a twisted version of a person that was already there. And it's not just a demon that is puppeting your body, it's a demon that kind of fuse into you. That also does make Angel's guilt feel more real. But at the same time, a lot of early Buffy did feel like, yeah, the demon and the person that actually caused the body, they're just two completely different things and they have no connection. But with Spike, it does feel like they have a connection. Like this is an amalgamation of both. It's almost like the demon is bringing out all the worst qualities in a person, or just grabbing those experiences of that person and just twisting them in a negative way, and encouraging evil. So Spike, now that he is cool and he has powers, I'm pretty sure he just went back and killed all those people that made fun of him. Pretty sure he went and killed that woman that said you're beneath me, like he tried to do with Buffy here. But now, the next time we see him is Angelus and Darla, not so much Drusilla, but even Drusilla, they're like, he's being too reckless and he's gonna get us all killed. Angelus and Darla, they operate with finesse. There's an artistry to the art of killing or whatever, So it's like seduce, covertly take someone out, like maybe torture them in a private manner. Meanwhile, Spike is out here just like, I'm gonna fist fight 20 people and kill all of them in the middle of the street. Like it's not the same. So he endangers himself and everyone around him. Angelus and Darla are like, bro, what the fuck? However, this is what Spike wants, because Spike wants to feel free. He wants to feel like he can take on the world. So he invites the world to come and fight him, because that's what he craves. He craves feeling like he can triumph above the world that made fun of him once. So when he was a nerd that didn't have any power and he wasn't confident and everyone ignored him, now he's like, everyone has to look at me and then I'm gonna kill them. And if they try to fight back, I'm gonna kill them too. And I'm gonna feel really good about it, because now I have everybody's attention and I am above everyone and no one can bring me down. No one laughs at me anymore. They cower with fear. So he feels really good about that, because it's a complete twist from where he was at before he turned. The way that his obsession with Slayers that we now learn he had, we weren't sure about that, but now we know. The way it came about is that Angelus mentioned you could even bring the Slayer to us. And Spike was like, what's the Slayer? They told him what the Slayer was, and Spike immediately decided, I want to fight that. Because Spike needs to feel like he's above everyone. Spike needs to feel like he's conquering everyone, because that's what he's after at this moment. He wants to feel like he's no longer cowering. Like, he did say, like, when he felt dying, it was the first moment he felt alive. And it's supposed to tell you that, like, the moment of, like, giving up on, like, all of your, like, worldly shit that, like, you don't like, and just saying, fuck that, I'm just gonna do whatever. That was when he felt alive for the first time. So now he's really excited about feeling like he's above everyone, about beating everyone, about getting everyone's attention, and proving that he's the best. In order to do so, he has to fight the Slayer, and at the same time, he has kind of a positive association with death at this point. So even if he dies fighting the Slayer, I don't think he would be that mad about it. He still wants to kill her because he needs to prove something, but if he had died in the process, I don't think he would necessarily be, like, super sad about... I mean, he wouldn't be anything because he would be dead, but, He did say, like, when I died was the first time I felt alive, so that is a weirdly positive association with death. So he's not afraid of that anymore. And that's why Angelus and Darla, they were more careful. And Spike is like, I don't give a fuck. I'm just going for it. He has a death wish. Which, weirdly enough, there is similarities there between him and the Slayers. Or at least he claims. Maybe he's projecting. Who knows? He goes to fight the Slayer in China. And he kills her. And he kills her by kind of pure luck. She was gonna stake him. And the moment that she was about to stake him, a random explosion just happened and just threw her off, threw them both. And then they resumed the fight. And then Spike won the second round and then killed her. When he killed her, she just said, what was it? Tell my mother I love her, or like tell my mother I'm sorry. And Spike was like, I don't speak Chinese. It was like, oh my god. That was a very sad scene for a character we never knew, and it was just for us, not for him. Like, we were the only ones who know what happened there, what she said. Because we have subtitles, but Spike didn't at the time. He kills her, and we get information that Slayer's blood is apparently a strong aphrodisiac for vampires. So that recontextualizes a couple things. So now I'm thinking that, like, anytime Buffy is walking around a vampire, they're incredibly horny. Maybe they're not, unless she's wounded and you can smell the blood. Or maybe it doesn't have any effect until you taste it. But at the very least, that one time that Angel drank off her to heal, he got really horny about it. And it was a really, like, sad and, like important scene. And it was, like, very worrying that Buffy was gonna die or something. But now we can recontextualize it and say that Angel was also really horny about it when it happened. Like, that's fine. It wasn't something he could control. It was just part of the vampire anatomy, I guess. But it did happen. Anyway, Spike gets really horny and Drusilla shows up and she's like, oh my, you killed the Slayer. And then Spike is like, yeah, I'm really horny because that's an aphrodisiac. Do you want to be horny too? And Drusilla was like, hell yeah. So then she drank it off his finger and then they fucked over her dead corpse or whatever. And then they were like, yeah, man, China rules. And Spike says that he fell at the top of the world. There was a moment... There was a shot that was really cool when he was walking with like this explosion behind him, everyone running in fear, and he feels so happy, and like he does like a little leap, and that leap is kind of a leap of like, I am at the top right now. That was the best night of his life. He felt really good about all of that, because it was also maybe the first time that he actually did hook up with a girl, because like that's kind of Spike. If we're gonna go by the idea of like the vampire is also kind of it's kind of an amalgam of like the person that you were before, which we have to say that now because we look at Spike history and it's like that's 100% true. Like that's the only reason why Spike is the way that he is. That means that he's still to some level really is a lovesick idiot. So he still wants to hook up with someone. And he was kind of going on his like revenge trip, or like, I'm gonna fuck the world for the way they treated me, and I'm gonna prove them that I'm the best. But now for the first time, he actually like hooks up with Drusilla. And they fucked, I guess. They have to have, because they said aphrodisiac, so I'm guessing that's what happened. So he killed the Slayer, he proved that he was the best, he hooked up with a girl. Everything's perfect. Like, that is the perfect, that is the perfect life for Spike. Like, if we grab William the human, the person he was before, kind of the same bullet points would apply to what Spike accomplished that night, which is prove that I am the best and have a girl like me and hook up with her. And it's like, it's the same thing. Like, Spike wanted to feel appreciated. Like, William wanted to feel appreciated, and he wanted to feel like somebody loved him. And now he got both here when in that night in China. So, very important night for Spike. However, this started a different chapter in Spike's life, where now he wants to kill Slayers. And maybe he didn't feel... okay, there was a gap between the first and the second kill, but like, definitely he sought the second kill because he felt like, I need to prove that I'm the best. And he did so by killing one Slayer. And then he was like, well, I can kill the next one too. And maybe I should, because just to prove it again. So he goes to kill the second Slayer and he manages to succeed. And when he kills the second Slayer, he takes her coat that he's still wearing to this day, by the way. That's how he got the coat. Like, I noticed the coat too. Like, I was like, oh, she looks so cool. She has this cool coat. And it's like, well, yeah, he took it from her. So he took her coat. And this also weirdly they give us an explanation as to why Spike and Drusilla's relationship is weird. When was season 2? God, wait, hold on. This was in 1998, right? The scene that we see here with Drusilla. We're in like 2001, right? So season 4, season 3, season 2. Is this season 2? Or like right after season 2? God, I forgot when Buffy started. Was it 96? Season 5 is 2000. Never mind. So yes, 5 2000, 499, 398. It was in the time after they left at the end of season 2. That was what we saw. So this is interesting because that is a flashback to something that happened concurrently with the show that we didn't get to see. But okay, we get to see how the split between Spike and Drusilla happened. And the reason why it kind of happened, why it was a rocky relationship, is because Spike is obsessed with Slayers. And Drusilla can see that. And Drusilla feels like Spike is not committed to her, which she might be right on that. Maybe she wasn't. Maybe we're just looking too hard into it. But Spike is obsessed with Slayers, and Drusilla is like, you're not obsessed with me, right? It's essentially like you're thinking about someone else, and I can feel it on you. You're literally wearing a Slayer on you, and it's cool as like a battle trophy or whatever. But she sees it as you get off on that and you love that and that's what you're after, but that means that you're not thinking about me, so I'm gonna cheat on you. So Drusilla breaks Spike's heart, and now that also explains why Spike was so dejected when we saw him in Lover's Walk. But that also really gives us a very good insight into what is the current situation here with Buffy, because Spike has a crush on Buffy. He loves Buffy. And now we're learning that there is more to it than that. It actually extends past that. Spike has always had an obsession with these Slayers. Kind of born out of a place of, there is a rivalry, but there's also a place of like, like I have to obsess over them in order to overcome them, in order to prove that I am the best. Because that is the only way that I can be the best. So they become something he has to measure himself up to. That is a crazy amount of obsession. No wonder he's freaking out about Buffy. But then on top of that, what he says, and we don't know if it's true, but I am inclined to believe that there is a level of truth to what he said, which is that Slayers have a death wish. Slayers just kind of want to die on some level. Maybe not something that they actively realize. Probably not. Maybe not even something that they will ever realize, or something that they understand why the feeling is there. But it is something that is hidden in there on some level, where they get cocky, they get overconfident, and it's not just because of being overconfident or because of being cocky, but it's the thrill of battle. And this is something that we're seeing here this season, where Buffy thinks, I have to learn more, I have to be better, I have to get better at being a Slayer. And, okay, something that I will mention though about Restless, season 4 finale. The first Slayer, the spirit of the first Slayer, I don't know if that first Slayer is just its own entity or like a representation of the spirit of the Slayer, like the spirit of the Slay. And what I mean by that is that I don't know if what the first Slayer like believes in or what she tried to like make Buffy do or act like or embrace. If that was the first Slayer being like, this is what I was and this is what you should be, or if that was the first Slayer being like, this is who we are, not just me, every single one of us. Like in the entire lineage of like avatars, in the entire lineage of Power Rangers here, everyone became the same thing, and that is who you are going to be too, because that is what comes with the job description. You are gonna thrill on battle, and eventually you're gonna die in battle, because part of battle, God, this is making me think of Bleach. There was an episode of Bleach 1000 Year Blood War that I watched on the channel called The Battle, and it was literally entirely about two characters who were obsessed with each other because they were obsessed with battle. They just wanted to fight, and they encountered each other and they were each other's best battle, and then they became obsessed with each other on like a level that was beyond love. And the only way that that relationship could end is that one of them had to kill the other. And they both knew that. And then it happened, and the entire episode was just the battle. And it was just this crazy euphoric fight where two people just went at it trying to kill each other in like an almost romantic way. It was insane. I loved it. Unohana was insane in that fucking episode. It was the craziest shit I've ever seen. That's something I'm kind of getting from Buffy here. Maybe the Slayer, Buffy and every other Slayer, they have, as part of being a Slayer, they get this thrill of battle to the degree that they become obsessed with it, to the degree that they also become kind of obsessed with death, because they understand that dying in battle is part of battle. So if it happens, then sure, whatever, that's worth it because it's part of battle. That's kind of what I'm feeling here. So what Spike is saying, there might be a level of truth to it, where he realizes that all of these Slayers that he's fought, they were obsessed with battle. So when they died in battle, he was like, they understood that this was part of it. And he was like, if they didn't have a death wish, they just simply wouldn't have done it. They just simply wouldn't have fought. Like, fuck it, we can have a Slayer that doesn't give a shit. Like, who's stopping that person from just deciding, I'm not gonna give a shit? And maybe that's part of what being a Slayer is. Like, on an almost biological sense, being a Slayer comes with the drawback that you're not gonna be able to move on past battle. And maybe that would explain why Buffy is the way that she is this season, is that being a Slayer comes with the caveat that you're gonna fight. You're gonna love fighting, you're gonna become obsessed with it, and that's gonna, at some point, you're gonna die. Like, because that's just how fights work. You're just gonna die one day. It's like fucking Chainsaw Man over here. If you're a devil hunter, you're gonna die. Like, it's gonna happen sooner or later. You're just going to die. So I think that there is a level of truth to what Spike said when he's telling that to Buffy, and that's also the thing, is that Buffy gets really upset about it. And I think that maybe the reason why she's getting upset about it is because she's feeling like she's being seen on a level that she doesn't like. Because she doesn't like what he's saying, but maybe she doesn't have it in her to deny that. She's thinking about it like, man, what if what he's saying is true? What if I'm just like this? And that's kind of what she dreamed about in Restless, wasn't it? So I'm thinking like, maybe that's going to be the reasoning as to why Buffy's acting this way, why we're doing this with this season, and also why Spike is developing this strong romantic feelings for Buffy more specifically. And the reason why is because they're kindred spirits. Spike has the death wish. Spike just wants to die at this point, and he is like, we've seen that multiple times. And even in the flashback here, we get to see how he didn't care if he died, because he needed to prove that he was the best, because he was thirsting for battle. He was thirsting for battle because he needed to prove something. Buffy's thirsting for battle because of the fact that she's the Slayer, but they're both battle-thirsty assholes. And Spike maybe is developing this obsession with Buffy because he understands that Buffy is on some level the only person that understands him. So he's developing all of these crazy romantic feelings because Spike, he's a romantic. This is something we're learning this episode. He was a romantic, and if vampires or the demons that are vampires are still kind of the same people that they were before, then he was a romantic and he still is one. And that's why he was really hung up on Drusilla, because that is part of his personality. And now he's really obsessing over Buffy, then of course this is the way it's going to develop. And Buffy's the only person that kind of gets him. He wants to just go fight. And so does the Slayer. So he's obsessing over Slayers more than in a rival sense. He's understanding that he's obsessing with Slayers might be on a more personal, intimate sense. Because a Slayer is someone that gets me. They get what I'm about. And that makes me feel seen. Buffy rejects that. Spike actually tries to go for a kiss. And Buffy's like, what the fuck are you doing? And pushes him away and tells him, never. And then she says, you're beneath me. And she throws all the money on him. And Spike is just on the floor. Coat is coming off of him. He's covered in dollars. And I don't know if he started crying, but he looked like he was about to start crying. I don't know if tears actually came out, but it doesn't matter. He was essentially crying at that point. And that moment, I kind of had, like, the image that I was seeing, the way that I saw it was almost like in that moment, we saw past 120 years of Spike, and we went right back to William. When he was rejected by that woman, he was a pathetic man lying on the ground, feeling sad that the girl he had a crush on just rejected him that way. But also, the way that we see, like, the coat come off and he's on the floor crying and he's covered in, like, scrumpled dollars that she just threw at him, just in spite. It was, like, almost like seeing how the entire persona that he's built up until that point, it just didn't matter. And I really like that visual. The visual of, like, everything that Spike is, like the cool guy, the black clothes, the coat, the money. It's like, it doesn't matter. It's just a fucking chump crying on the floor because a girl rejected him. I really like that visual. I really like how they presented that visual to us. It was like the crumple money. It was like, it's such a, I think that is always represents this idea of like, yeah, there you go. You have the money. Are you happy about that? And it's like, he's not. He's fucking not, because that's not what he's after. He's not after image. That's what I think that represents. It's the idea that, like, Spike is always like, hey, give me money, or like, hey, I'm trying to be cool. But like, that's not what he wants. So we're getting to see a moment where, like, he gets all that shit thrown at him and he's still just crying on the ground. And it's like, because that's not what he wants. On like a fundamental level, that's not what he's after. So that's never going to make him happy. And we're seeing past that image and going right back to William being rejected, being told you're nothing. I think that was a really, really good scene for that reason. It was very clever. I really liked it. However, then he goes from being really sad to being really angry, because this is what he did previously. He got his powers and he was like, I'm going to show them. I'm going to fucking show them. She said she's beneath me. I'm going to show her. I'm above her. I'm always above them. Like, I've beaten 2. I can beat the 3rd one. I'm just going to go on. I'm going to kill her. Like, I'm going to prove that I am above them. Because he has this, like, almost trauma of being seen as someone that is not worth it. Someone that is not worth consideration. So then he goes, gets a gun. And, like, to be fair, that's, like, very solid plan. I was thinking about this as I was watching the episode earlier. I was like, it does make his head hurt, but I don't think we have any, like, proof that, like, his head is gonna explode or something. That is gonna be any, like, lasting consequence to the fact that, like, he kills someone. Because we haven't seen that yet. But, like, the truth is that if he were to just shoot Buffy and kill her, or shoot a person and kill a person, would that matter? He would get a really bad headache, but only after they were killed. Because a gun is such a quick way of killing someone that all you gotta do is just be like, or like half a second, just aim real quick and just pull the trigger. And when you do that, you're gonna get hit with the recoil of the pure pain, and maybe you'll fall to the ground and you start screaming in pain. But the bullet has already fired. So that is a good plan, actually. The fact that he was like, I'm going to shoot her, and that's going to be the end of it. I'm just going to pull a gun and shoot her to death. He can't fight, but he can do the strongest insta-kill spell ever created. The gun. Fuck a Nevada Kedavra or whatever. Just gun. Just fucking shoot her. Shoot her dead. He comes in with the entire intent of just shooting and killing her. And I do have this moment where I'm actually worried that he might. And then he sees Buffy just crying, and he gets close to her, and he sees her just not care. She's just crying inconsolably. And Spike just has a moment of, it all wears off. The entire Spike persona we've had for 120 years, it all just wears off. We just go right back to William, and he goes like, what's wrong? Buffy is like, I don't want to talk about it. Spike is like, is there something I can do? And I was like, what the? That is the craziest shit I've seen in this entire show. More so than Spike fantasizing about, like, fucking with Buffy or whatever. It's this. It's the fact that, like, in that moment, Spike just turned completely. Like, the demon just left his body. It just went right back to William. He was like, what's happening? Can I do something for you? Like, and I have to say, James Masters, incredible fucking actor, but like the way he delivered that, what's wrong and is there something I can do? It was such a genuine delivery. A lot of what Spike says and the way Spike acts, it feels like, you know, he's fucking around, because he is. But when he said those lines, they felt so genuine. It was just like like Spike fantasizing about like being with Buffy, kissing her and fucking her or whatever. I'm like, okay, whatever. Like, that was kind of crazy, but in my mind, I was like, well, he's kind of obsessed with her, so I guess I can kind of flip that and I can see it. Him just being genuine and just being like, can I help you? That is the part that I'm like, what the fuck? That is the craziest shift we've seen in Spike the entire fucking show. And maybe any character in this entire fucking show. Like, I've never seen any crazier than fucking that. Like, that is insane to me. And I loved it. I absolutely fucking loved it. I 100% understand why people love Spike. Even beyond just, like, the fangirling of it. It's like, this character is fucking nuts. This character is going through so many changes, and I fucking loved all of it. He's so fucking interesting. I love that shit. I love whatever we're doing in Spike here. It's crazy. And he just sits down next to her, puts the gun down, and he kind of like gives her a little pat on the back. And it wasn't even like a big pat. It was like a small meek pat. Just like, it's gonna be okay. And it was this thing where like, she didn't say anything. She didn't want to talk about it. That's what she said. But Spike just kind of sat next to her and just gave her company. And he was like, this show is gone off the fucking rails. And something very interesting, talking about Riley, is that Riley was, in the meantime, where Riley was kind of obsessed with like, I'm going to go and I'm going to kill all those guys in that like mausoleum or whatever. It's just like, there's those guys in that crypt and I'm just going to go in there, I'm going to stick a guy and I'm going to throw a grenade and they're going to blow up. And it's like, hell yeah, I saved the day. Meanwhile, Buffy's out there crying her eyeballs out because her mom is cancer and is gonna die in like 2 months or whatever. I'm just throwing shit at the wall there. I'm not sure if that's gonna happen, but that's what she's thinking. And then Spike shows up and just kind of is there for her, and that's insane. It's insane that that's the person who's doing it. And also, it feels like that is the most. Is that the most genuine expression of like concern and care that we've seen in this show? Because, like, I feel like we've had a lot of this, like, big, passionate, romantic displays. But I think that was the most display of, like, genuine, real care. Of, like, someone going through something and someone just being there for her. I don't know if we've seen that before. I mean, we definitely have, but I don't know if to this degree. This feels like the most, like, real that a scene like that has been. So, like, I don't think we've ever seen anything like that with Riley, if I'm being honest with you. And that might be just because, like, with Riley, we never had something like that. Like, Buffy go through something crazy like that in order for Riley to actually be, you know, there for her. I'm not doubting that he could. Maybe I am doubting that he could. I don't know. But Spike fell in that moment better than anyone in the entire fucking cast. It felt the most genuine. If there is a person that wears their emotions on their sleeves, is Spike. Like, Angel is like brooding in the back and fucking Riley's out there having a crisis of like, you know, like, what am I doing? Or like, am I the good guy? Am I the bad guy? Like, kind of similar to Angel in a way, but like, and Riley's kind of equally obsessive but he's obsessing in like a negative sense where like he doesn't trust Buffy, and he's like, oh, Buffy doesn't trust me, she's not telling me everything or whatever. But Spike is like just seeing this girl cry, and he's like, it's gonna be okay. It's like, what the fuck? What the fuck? And okay, something else about Spike seeing the connection between him and Slayers, maybe, or maybe he doesn't see it, but I see it. I have better eyes than he does. It's the idea that they have this thirst for a battle, so he sees it as a kindred spirit, as someone who understands what he's about, and he shows up for a battle with Buffy, kind of assassination, but still a battle. And the moment he does, Buffy's just there crying, and he has a moment of like, oh, like, I've never showed up to fight someone and they were like, not, I don't care. I'm just crying. My mom has cancer or whatever. And it was a moment of like genuine emotion that he kind of was like, oh, you know, because like he's ready for Buffy to fight back. He was ready for that. But the moment she didn't, he was like, something's wrong. And that doesn't make me happy, right? It doesn't make me happy that he doesn't want to fight. It doesn't make me happy that she's not being herself. So like, what happened? You know? And he has a genuine concern and he wants to help her. And it's like, oh my God, I'm sorry, I'm just going over this over and over again. I'm just repeating myself at this point. But like, I can't stress to you enough how crazy that final like moment for that episode was. That was the craziest shit I've ever seen. Spike just being there for Buffy. And Buffy didn't push him away either. You can argue that like she just didn't have the energy for it. She was just like, I'm dealing through enough. I don't want to like deal with Spike too. Makes sense. When you're at that place, when you're that sad, you kind of don't care anymore. Like whatever's happening next to you, it's like, I don't care. Like, I hate everything. I'm so sad. I just want to sit here and die. Like, I don't care. But also at the same time, I'm kind of thinking like maybe Buffy liked that. Maybe Buffy liked the fact that Spike was there for her. Crazy. And like maybe Buffy now kind of maybe understands where Spike is coming from. Insane. Because Spike tried to kiss her and Buffy was like, no. But then Buffy's crying and Spike is like, hey, it's gonna be okay. And it's the thing of like, maybe he just has a crush on me and cares about me. Which is true. Now we can say in this episode, from what we've seen, that that's true. That's a fact. So if Buffy is like, oh, he has a crush on me, which at first she was like, ew, no. But then she was like, oh, maybe he's not bad. Maybe he actually cares. Yeah, that's true. That's true now. We can just say that that's true. We've seen the way he acts. So, yeah, insane. Sorry, like, this episode is wild to me. This episode is the wildest fucking episode of this fucking show. I mean, I think it's Restless and then this. Like, there are some wild episodes of the show for a variety of reasons. Like, you have, like, the Seppo or whatever. You have episodes where, like, I don't know, some episodes in season 1 are just crazy in, like, a bad way. You have, like, Ted. Ted really got to me, but maybe it wasn't that crazy in hindsight. But this episode, I've never seen a character turn around like have this much of a crazy journey. We learn so much. We can like understand Spike's character perfectly. And now looking into the future, I'm like, what are we doing? Like Spike is no longer just good now. He's also the next love interest for Buffy. And it makes more sense than any of the previous love interests for Buffy. Like, if you told me that shit, like, even a couple episodes ago, I would have been like, no. But then I'm watching this episode and I'm like, yeah, actually, 100%, yes. Now that I understand Spike, I understand where that comes from. And Spike is also telling Buffy a lot of things that I am inclined to believe. And I'm like, yeah, I think they get each other. More so than anyone, actually, ever. Crazy. What the fuck are we doing? These two are gonna hook up. That's what I'm thinking. These two are gonna hook up. They're kind of already hooking up at this point. So yeah. Is there something else I can talk about this episode? I really like seeing Drusilla. I really like seeing Angelus and Darla. We've seen them a little bit in Angel season 2. Drusilla was in again flashbacks. I wish we could see Drusilla again. I really like Drusilla. I think she's an incredible fucking character. I wish we could see more of her. But we just saw them in flashbacks here. I saw David Boreanaz at the bottom, and I was like, I'm not. Spoilers, but then it was like, oh, it was just flashback. He didn't actually show up. I think that was really cool. We got to see Spike background. There was so much Spike this episode. Spike, Buffy, Angelus, Darla, and Drusilla. They were the main characters, honestly, because there was a lot of flashbacks and Spike and Buffy. We got a little bit of Giles, a little bit of Riley in the game, but like they didn't really matter that much, if I'm being honest with you. Buffy's just really interested as to why. Okay, let's talk about that. Let's talk about like Buffy being interested as to why there's like no documentation of the last battle that Slayers have. And it's like, well, because it was the last battle. They died. It's difficult to get information out of them when they just die. And Buffy goes like, well, why don't the Watchers register some kind of information? And Giles is like, well, because if it were me, I would be really sad. So like, I don't know if I would note down, this is how essentially my stepdaughter died. Like, yeah. But something that I was thinking about when I heard that is that, like, maybe there is something to, like, inherently to the Slayer that makes it so the Slayer dies of something that is unrelated to battle. Or maybe, and what I'm thinking more now that we've seen what Spike said, Slayers die in battle. But that's because there's just so many battles. And that's something that Spike said. It's like, that's what we're all waiting, is for one of us to have one good day. And that will be the day that you die. It's like, is not so much the idea that the Slayer can take on anything, because maybe a Slayer could, but a Slayer at some point is gonna have a bad day, they're gonna get careless, they're gonna get cocky, and one of us is gonna have a good day. And whenever that happens, that's all she wrote. And I'm thinking more so that that's the case. It's like I was thinking in my head, like maybe there's something special about the Slayer so that they die at age 25 or whatever. But it's like, maybe that's not it. Maybe it's just the fact that like there is so many battles that a Slayer goes through that at some point they're just gonna die in one of them. You fight thousands of enemies. At some point, one of them is just gonna get a lucky hit in and you're gonna die. It's kind of part of the job description. You sign up for that. Buffy didn't sign up to be a Slayer. No Slayer ever did. But they do eventually decide, I'm going to be the Slayer. I'm going to fight these creatures. Apparently, I don't know if we've ever had a Slayer who just refused. But the moment we start throwing Slayers at these threats, it's part of the job description that they're just going to die in one of them. Which is very interesting for Buffy because Buffy is the main character. And if she just dies, then what do we do? So maybe, like, I'm like 90% sure that she's gonna die when the show ends. Maybe before that. Maybe before that happens, she's gonna die. But I feel like she's gonna die on camera. Like, she's not gonna... I don't think the show's gonna end and everyone's gonna be happy and everything's gonna be good. I think that the show probably has to end with death. At the very least. Maybe even before that. And then we do some shenanigans. But, like, death will happen on camera. And it kind of already has happened in season 1. But, like, I kind of don't count that. But we did get Kendra and Faith as a result of that. So that has to be given props for that. Yeah, it doesn't spell necessarily good things for Buffy. Because we're just essentially saying, like, oh yeah, the Slayer dies. She's just going to die in battle. As always. And that's just par for the course. Yeah, so, yeah, what I'm saying is that Buffy is Unohana and Spike is Saraki. They're going to hook up and kill each other. That's my prediction for the future. They're not necessarily going to hook up in like the traditional sense. They're going to kill each other and that's going to be the equal of hooking up. That's what I think. All right. That's my prediction for the future. This episode went insane. I don't know what the fuck is happening. I love this episode. I very much did. Have you been talking about it for an hour? Just look at the recording time. I'm going to go. See you guys next time. Bye-bye. Take care. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in to this reaction episode to Buffy. If you'd like to watch the next 2 episode reactions, full-on reactions, and you watch alongs, you can do so or at the Patreon. Check out the links in the description below, social media, all sorts of cool stuff that I do. See you guys next time. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.